We go.
Your worst stuff that
Let's
nobody
say
up there.
my weird shit.
I like it. It's good.
All right, now I'm gonna do a couple more, and then we got to bolt. Billy's not feeling well, so
yeah.
but
I should have brought
it's really
mine.
great to. It's like
I
River
have
George was
asthma.
saying. It's really great to see this many people out at poetry. I don't know.
Especially in the middle of March.
Oh, I was gonna say, George, how many times have you and I been out here and there's been like 4 or 5 and we just rotate for like 3 hours, and finally we just run out of shit and just come up here and start making bad jokes, you know?
Be grateful today is a
That's right. So these last two I'm gonna do. These are actually covers. They're not mine, but they're pertinent. One I recently came across again, and I thought it was very pertinent. You know, it was written, oh God, over 40 years ago, and with the situation overseas such as it is, I thought it was still pretty relevant today. This is by the great Allen Ginsberg. This is called How to Be Playing on the Jukebox. How to be flashing like the Daily Double. How to be playing on TV. How to be loudmouthed on the Comedy Hour. Had to be announced over loudspeakers. The CIA and the Mafia are in cahoots. Had to be said in old ladies' language. Had to be said in American headlines. Kennedy stretched and smiled and got double-crossed by low-life goons and agents. Rich bankers with criminal connections. Dope pushers in the CIA working with dope pushers from Cuba working with the big-time syndicate Tampa, Florida. It had to be said with a big mouth. Had to be moaned over factory foghorns. Had to be chattered on car radio news broadcasts. Had to be screamed in the kitchen. Had to be yelled in the basement where uncles were fighting. Had to be held on the streets by newsboys to bus conductors. It had to be foghorned into New York Harbor. Had to echo under hard hats. Had to turn up the volume in university ballrooms. Had to be written in library books, footnoted. Had to be in the headlines of the Times and Le Monde. Had to be barked over TV. Had to be heard in side alleys through barroom doors. Had to be played on wire services. Had to be bells ringing, comedians stopped dead in the middle of a joke in Las Vegas. Had to be the FBI Chief J. Edgar Hoover and Frank Costello syndicate mouthpiece meeting in Central Park together weekends in New York, reported posthumously Time magazine. Had to be the Mafia and the CIA together. Started the war on Cuba, Bay of Pigs, and poison assassinations headlines. Had to be the dope cops and the Mafia who sold all that heroin in America. Had to be FBI and organized crime working together in cahoots against the commies. Let Lucky Luciano out of jail take over Sicily Mediterranean drug trade. Had to be Corsican goons and Office Strategic Services pay busted 1948 dock strike in Marseille. 60s port transshipment Indochina heroin. Had to be ringing on multinational cash registers. Worldwide laundry for organized criminal money. Had to be CIA and the Mafia and the FBI together. Bigger than Nixon, and bigger than war. Had to be a gorged throat full of murder. Had to be a mouth and ass, a solid mass of rage, a red-hot head, a scream in the back of the throat. Had to be in Kissinger's brain. Had to be in Rockefeller's mouth. Had to be Central Intelligence, the family, our thing, the agency, Mafia, organized crime, FBI, dope cops, and multinational corporations. One big set of criminal gangs working together in cahoots. Hitmen, murderers everywhere, outraged on the make. Secret, drunk, brutal, dirty, and rich, on top of a slag heap of prisons. Industrial cancer, plutonium smog, garbage cities, grandma's bed sores, father's resentments. Had to be the rulers who wanted law and order they got rich on. Wanted protection status quo, wanted junkies, wanted Attica, wanted Kent State, wanted war in Indochina. Had to be the CIA and the Mafia and the FBI, multinational capitalists, strong-armed squads, private detective agencies for the very rich, and their armies and navies and Air Force bombing planes. Had to be capitalism, the vortex of this rage. This competition, man-to-man, horse's head in the capo's bed, turf and rumbles, hitmen, gang wars across oceans. Bombing Cambodia, settle the score where Soviet pilots manned Egyptian fighter planes. Chile's red democracy bumped off with White House pots and pans and a warning to Mediterranean governments. The secret police embraced for decades. The NKVD and the CIA keep each other's secrets. The OGPU and the DIA never hit their own. The KGB and the FBI One mind, brute force, worldwide, and full of money. It had to be rich, had to be powerful, had to hire technology from Harvard, had to murder in Indochina 500,000, had to murder in Indonesia 2 million, had to murder in Czechoslovakia, had to murder in Chile, had to murder in Russia, and had to murder in America. Okay, I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to shut the fuck up for tonight. Now, I was originally going to do this one, but I realized I haven't performed here since November. And Jeff always likes it when I do one of these. So I'm going to do some Morrison for you, Jim. For you, Jeff. Why did I say for Jim? For Jeff. So this is by the great James Douglas Morrison. This is called The Soft Parade. When I was back there in seminary school, there was a person there who put forth the proposition that you can petition the Lord with prayer. Petition the Lord with prayer. Petition the Lord with prayer. But you cannot petition the Lord with prayer. Can you give me sanctuary? I must find a place to hide. A place for me to hide. Can you find me soft asylum? I can't make it anymore. The man is at the door. Peppermint miniskirts, chocolate candy, champion sacks, and a girl named Sandy. There's only 4 ways to get unraveled. One is to sleep and the other is travel. One is a bandit up in the hills and one is to love your neighbor till his wife gets home. Catacombs, nursery bones, winter women throwing stones, carrying babies to the river. Streets and shoes, avenues, leather riders selling news. The monk bought lunch. Successful hills are here to stay. Everything must be this way. Gentle street where people play. Welcome to the soft parade. All our lives we sweat and save, building for a shallow grave. There must be something else we say. Somehow to defend this place, everything must be this way. The soft parade has now begun. Listen to the engines hum. People out to have some fun, a cobra on my left and a leopard on my right. The dear woman in a silk dress, girls with beads around their necks, kiss the hunter of the green vest who has wrestled before with lions in the night. Out of sight, the lights are getting brighter, the radio is moaning, calling to the dogs. There's still a few animals left out in the yard, but it's getting harder to describe sailors to the underfed. Tropic corridor, tropic treasure, what got us this far to this mild equator? We need someone or something new, something else to get us through. Calling on the dogs, calling on the dogs, calling in the dogs, calling all the dogs, calling on the gods. Meet me at the crossroads, meet me on the edge of town. Outskirts of the city, just you and I in the evening sky. You better come alone, you better bring your gun, we're gonna have some fun. And when all else fails, we can whip the horse's eyes and make them sleep and cry. Thank you very much. I've been Cher Guevara. You've been wonderful, everybody. I'm out.